It's a League One matinee at Paladin Stadium between the Greenville Triumph and the Chattanooga Red Wolves, presented by ScanSource. Welcome one and all on the broadcast. My name is Mark Schoenster, Ross Davenport to my right as we close out the weekend of league play. Let's take a peek at the standings, brought to you by Hopkins Eye Center. The Greenville Triumph, not even playing yet, are still atop the standings after the action that transpired yesterday. Meanwhile, the Red Wolves near the bottom of the table, still trying to pick up some form. They're in a bit of a survival mode right now with a lot of their key pieces still missing from their starting lineup, and they've got their hands full this week. A game today, a game in the midweek, and a game on the weekend. But they can't even start thinking about those next few games because this Greenville Triumph offense is potent, coming into the weekend as the highest scoring team in USL League One.
Yeah, the goals are coming bunches, though. Only one in the last two games in all comps, but they put 6 past Tormentor in a couple of meetings, 2 past Madison before that. But we know what they can do when they're on, and this Red Bulls team has struggled to keep teams out of the net the last couple of games.
Well, if they're looking for some consistency, this Greenville Triumph team may have found a guy who can establish that consistency. Sebastian Velasquez is back in the starting lineup after getting injured in that game against Lexington back in late March. He was able to sub in that Spokane Velocity game last weekend, and now he gets to get in the 11.
Yeah, Greenville have had the luxury of not rushing Sebastian Velasquez back. Ben Zakowski been doing a very good job in the center at midfield along with others. We'll see. Chattanooga will have to pay attention to him tonight, though.
And Chattanooga has had a bit of a rough spell as of late. It's been some rough results, including some gut-wrenching endings, including the game against Lexington last weekend. I mentioned already, they've got a lot of players who are injured right now who would be in the starting lineup, so they're just trying to figure out, grind out some results here. A busy week coming up ahead, but one bright spot on this Chattanooga team has been Mael Malongo in that last game against Lexington. 2 goals, 1 assist. Was given the award of the player of the round in round 3 of the Jägermeister Cup. Now it's a matter of stringing games together. Yeah,
the injury to star striker Roa Papa-Mensah really opened the door here from Mael Malongo to show what he's got. Scott McKenzie said teams know what he can do. It's just about him doing it on a consistent basis.
Well, there's only one way to find out if either side will claim 3 points this Sunday, and that's by staying locked in right here on ESPN+. It's the Greenville Triumph and the Chattanooga Red Wolves preparing to do battle. We've got lineups and kickoff coming up next after this break. We'll see you then.
Cycling was a lifesaver. It really was.
You know, when we first talked about the business, I could tell it was more than just a new direction for you.
Yeah, it's a full-time passion now.
It wasn't the easiest journey, was it?
Hanging on for the ride, that's half the fun. Staying ahead of your competition, that's the other half.
There's always more ground to cover. Let's find a way.
Welcome to Wood Creek Dental, where dental care, from our family to yours.
This USL League One broadcast is brought to you by ScanSource, official partner of the Greenville Triumph. Here are your starting lineups, brought to you by Pelham Medical Center. First off, for the Greenville Triumph, they're pretty standard 4-2-3-1, as we already mentioned, the return of Sebastian Velasquez.
Yeah, 3 changes for Rick Wright from that game up at Spokane in the Cup last week. And Leo Castro returns after sitting for the first time last week. You mentioned Velasquez in for Carlos Angriano, and Garner back in as the League One goalie for the time being. We've seen him flip-flop this season with Gunther Rankenberg in that role.
Well, it was the idea going into the season, it would be Garner in league play, Rankenberg in cup play, but it's kind of flip-flop back and forth like you mentioned. Meanwhile, for the visiting Red Wolves and Scott McKenzie, we thought about what kind of formation they're going to come out here with, Ross. But this is what we've conjured up. We'll wait to see how it really takes place on the field.
Well, the first thing, though, is the shortage on bench. Scott McKenzie with so many injuries. 2 changes tonight, 1 forced, thanks to that Omar Hernandez red last weekend against Lexington. Owen Green, though, comes in, makes his first appearance as a Red Wolf at right back, and Polo Hernandez replaces Yair Paez.
TJ Bush will be between the pipes once again for the Chattanooga Red Wolves.
I think some people might have been wondering if he would retain his spot. Tim Truck, obviously a very capable backup. TJ Bush with that horrendous mistake last week that cost them against Lexington in the Cup. And there is Mr. Velasquez.
When we talked to Scott McKenzie this week, he said it's tough to rag on TJ Bush because he's done so many things that you want to give him flowers for, but when you make a mistake, you also got to let him know that that's what happened and that it's not acceptable.
Oh yeah, I mean, that game made a number of key saves. He's been doing it all season in that regard, and you have to if you're going to keep Tim Truck on the bench. It's just one of those ones. I said to you, I watched it a bunch of times. He did just lucky, he miskicked it, kicked the ground, and couldn't blame the pitch on that one. It was just a poor time, as Scott McKenzie said, to do it. In the 92nd minute with a 1-goal lead. See if they can shake it off here tonight.
And we are underway here in this Sunday clash between the Greenville Triumph and the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Scott McKenzie's side donning the white unis, Greenville in their classic green kits. And we'll see what we have in store for us for these next 90 minutes. I'm Mark Schoenster, Ross Davenport, giving you the analysis on the color microphone. Nice midday game here in Greenville, South Carolina. Not often do you get that earlier kickoff, a 4 Eastern time kick. 76 degrees in Greenville.
One thing you and I talked about before the game with Liam McKinnon, Greenville had him listed as right on the right side, normally more of a left-sided play, but he is starting on the right wing. Which means Hayden Anderson on the left. See if that stays the same as we get through this game. You know, John Harkes was always such a changer of wingers during games. Rick Wright will do it on occasion, not quite as often.
McKinnon floats this one inside for Castro. It's headed away. Here's Evan Lee. Still with it. Evan Lee pushing forward, taps it. Castro tried to drag it in, and it's deflected outward by Leo Falla.
As you continue to see from Evan Lee, you see converted center back, defensive midfield, but he has been pushing more forward as the season's gone on. Got Herrera behind him to cover if needed. Was an attacking midfielder in college, as Rick Wright always likes to remind us.
Oh, yeah.
As I'm sure Evan Lee likes to remind him.
It'll be Velasquez providing the service. A little bit low, knocked outward. Out for a Greenville throw. It was a 0-0 draw on the road last weekend in Jägermeister Cup play for the Triumph. Game against Spokane Velocity out west. Rick Wright said that he felt good during the game. It was a great environment out there, some really loud fans. And then when they went back to look on the film, you can see it was a very spirited performance and quite the enjoyable 0-0 match, not one of those dreadful ones.
Lots of quality chances, including one for Spokane that may have crossed the line. We'll never know.
Who doesn't love a little bit of controversy?
Controversy in Jamie Smith? No.
I wasn't even going to go there. Liam McKinnon. I'll tap that one back. And there is the aforementioned Jamie Smith.
Enough controversy is the word. That was a bit harsh. Let's just say interesting things that happen around him. Never a dull moment with that gentleman.
Herrera. That's that one jabbed out of his clutches. And that'll be a foul on Evan Lee. A lot of respect for that Spokane staff from the Greenville side of things. I think it's another great addition to USL League One, just the group of people they have in that organization over there, which you always love to hear from other coaches. Meanwhile, a 4-3 loss to Lexington at home last weekend for Chattanooga. And when we talked to Scott McKenzie about it, he said, well, look, when you're way below full strength, missing 6 of your starting guys, your starting caliber players, you're against some of the best strikers that the league has ever seen. And also, on top of that, just not playing your best ball in general. And yet we're still only down for 40 seconds of the match. That's the positive way to twist it. But at the end of the day, Scott McKenzie was not pleased with how they played in that one, and is looking for them to put out a better performance in this match here today.
It's been a rough start for Scott in his first, well, should be his first full season after being interim last year. The injuries, the schedule situation. Obviously, the defense was solid for a while. Last 2 games, just been giving up goals in bunches. And then obviously they'll catch up with some games this week. This is the first of 3 in the space of 7 games, and the next 2 they are at home against Omaha and Madison. So 3 of the hottest teams in the league here for Chattanooga in 7 days. They come out with even 3 points out of those 3 games. I think Scott will be happy.
Hayden Anderson launching this one in play, headed down, not out of the thickets yet. McKinnon takes the shot after twisting, and it's over the crossbar. And it looks like it took a brush off a Red Wolf defender, so it'll be another Greenville corner kick. Ryan McKinnon, the league's leading goal scorer with 6 of them.
Even with audacious attempts like that, every time it comes off the foot of Ryan McKinnon, you think there's a good chance of it ending in the back of the net. Several coaches we've spoken to this year raved about him.
It'll be Velasquez once again. Herrera's right beside him. Former teammates at El Paso, now once again teammates in Greenville. Here's a service in, punched away. TJ Bush getting both fists on it. Greenville will persist though. That will be cleared out all the way back to Tyler Polak. Here's an opportunity for the Red Wolves though. Malongo trying to set his man running. Malongo takes the shot after it was given right back to him, but it'll go beyond the goal and out for a goal kick. Let's take a look at our keys to the game. Brought to you by Acumen IT. Starting off with the Greenville Triumph, early pressure. Rick Wright, for the past few weeks, was not happy with the way his team was starting games. It was much more happy with how they started that game against Spokane last week, and he really believes that in this game against Chattanooga, they want to start out fresh out the gates hot and get on top of this Red Wolves team.
The situation that Chattanooga are in, the longer they hang around in this game, a chance to pick up a point at minimum, the better they'll feel about themselves. But if you get an early goal or 2 as the Triumph, perhaps get Scott McKenzie thinking ahead to the rest of the week instead, and his team put this game away.
Here's Castro. A lot of stumbling steps, but he kept his footing and tried to feed McKinnon. Now it's cleared away. Herrera will lay this one back to Smith, and he'll push forward once again. Daniel Wu getting the start at center back once again. His 3rd start of the season in league action.
Yeah, Brandon Fricky, usual captain for Greenville, still continuing to deal with that ankle injury. Not going to rush him back. He's probably quite wise. He came back a little bit too early last time and re-injured it. It was a nasty challenge. And he did hurt it. He's playing well enough that this Daniel has been a very capable replacement. There's no need. Same thing they did with Velasquez. Didn't rush him back.
Let's take a look at our keys to the game. For the away side, disrupt the court is the challenge for Chattanooga. A lot of praise was given to Chapa Herrera by Scott McKenzie, and he said we need to disrupt him and get him off his game.
He's one of those quiet guys that doesn't show up in the score sheet, but coaches we talk to talk about what a quality player is, what a quality signing it was this offseason.
Here's an opportunity, shot played towards goal into the arms of TJ Bush. Chattanooga will reset. Great to get your star player, Sebastian Velasquez, back into the mix of things. Rick Wright mentioned that in the game against Spokane last week, Velasquez was trying to sub himself into the game while he was warming up before Rick Wright actually gave him the go-ahead. He would end up getting into the match, but that just kind of goes to show you the eagerness that Velasquez has been playing with. There's Jameel Roberts getting a warning. Former head official Mario Maric.
A little bit of a late challenge here by Jameel Roberts. Probably just about early enough in the game. It didn't see the card. You mentioned Sebastian Velasquez. We talked to Rick Wright about him earlier this season. It's one of those signings where he was like, oh, really? He really wants to come play for us? And they obviously wanted to come back to the area, but Rick wasn't sure if they could get it done, and they did. And that sort of led to that Herrera signing. Obviously, those two haven't had a ton of opportunities to play with each other, thanks to Velasquez's injury. I mentioned Ben Zakowski. What a great job he did filling in. He got to play back in his natural position of wing last weekend. Mentioned Liam McKinnon on the right. He did play there last week against Spokane. Spent most of the time on the left, played center forward as well. Castro out.
How about that pass from Castro? McKinnon plays it back up top, and Evan Lee's denied by his teammate. It hit Hayden Anderson. Evan Lee picked the bottom left corner.
We'll get another look at that, but I'm not sure if it was heading on target. We'll see where Anderson was standing in the relationship to the post, but certainly a quality chance there. Left begging for Greenville.
Here's Velasquez after the turn. He fires. It's off target. Let's get another look at that one here, Ross, and just see how close this was. First off, what a ball from Castro.
Yeah, good first touch. Let's take another look at Anderson's there. Yeah, I think it would have gone wide. I think Evan Lee's more upset at himself for not putting it on target.
So at the end of the day, Hayden Anderson was acting more as a backboard, trying to keep it in the mix of things. This ball up to Liam McKinnon, but the offside flag will pop up. To throw in another story about the eagerness of Sebastian Velasquez in training, at the end of training on Thursday. Still trying to get back up to speed. He looks at Rick Wright, points at him and goes, starting, right? And although he would end up getting the starting role, Rick Wright had a lot to say about just the big personality that he brings, and that even before he was starting, he's just such a great presence to have again in the locker room.
Does not lack in confidence, Mr. Velasquez.
Players are already so hungry to get out on the pitch and play. I can't imagine after extended time off, as Malongo couldn't get it by Garner. Another moment of opportunity for the Red Wolves fans to cheer for. You know, they're tuning in from Jonathan's Bar and Grill, the official pub partner of the Red Wolves. We welcome you in. We're tuning in from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Free kick taken quickly. Bush is there for it. Marsh carries it out wide to Roberts. Ricky Ruiz will play that one back to Fernandez, and now it's along the back line.
You see Stefan Lukic playing a little deeper tonight. Those guys that can really play anywhere in the midfield or up top if necessary.
It's a good find to Marsh. Siobhan Marsh has Malongo running. Maya Malongo into the 18! And the Red Wolves score! Maya Malongo with some acrobatics to celebrate. And the Malongo train might be picking up some steam here in 2024. A brace and an assist last weekend. And he's back in the goal column once again.
Greenville got caught a little bit far up the pitch here. It was lovely work by Marsh. Polak didn't pinch in to help out his center backs. That's a quality finish from Malanga. Good strength there from Marsh. Those two best friends. We talked to Scott McKenzie about that this week.
They talked about how they're probably the two closest players on the team, and they've been talking about trying to get that dynamic growing between the two of them. They've been very supportive of each other. He mentioned Rapapa Mensah is also kind of part of that trio dynamic with them, and that they've been pushing him to get all three of them to start in the same game. Of course, Mensah currently on the mend. But man, if those two, let alone those three, can all find some chemistry and find a dynamic, that is a deadly trio of offensive pieces. And they've got the lead on the road.
And Siobhan Marsh had to earn his way into the starting lineup this season, even with his quality campaign last year. We talked to Scott McKenzie about that earlier this season. Playing up top tonight alongside Malongo. Ricky Ruiz, that central role right behind him. Another guy you got to worry about. And obviously spent time in USL Championship. After his first stint with the Red Wolves, quality distributor from that center midfield spot. And that's where the danger is going to be. Talked about Chattanooga's key was limiting the core of Greenville's midfield, but that goal came straight from the spine of Chattanooga. And Scott McKenzie will surely love to see that production.
This ball stays in bounds for Ricky Ruiz. Ruiz, another creative player in his own right. Jamie Smith does well there, though, defensively. Ruiz wins it back, but unjustly, according to our head official, which means we've got a free kick here. And they give each other a good little handshake afterwards, or high five, whatever you want to call it. Just two guys jousting for the ball. The inaugural USL Jägermeister Cup continues on Saturday, June 8th, with the fourth round games in group play starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Watch all the Cup games streaming exclusively on ESPN+. Garner resets the action here as Greenville will have to hit the recalibrate button in this game. Of course, conceding early is never part of the game plan. Rick Wright mentioned that they're aware of a lot of the dangerous players that are on this team, this Chattanooga team, highlighting Malongo and Ricky Ruiz in particular.
Scott McKenzie mentioned Malongo hasn't got to the stage of where team's game plan for him, but he knows he's talented enough for that to happen. Oh, that's a lovely ball.
Squared ball inside, Jamie Smith knocks it away. And it'll be a throw-in for Chattanooga. Scott McKenzie described this Greenville team as very organized and patient, and talked about some of the game changers like Lyon McKinnon, Leo Castro, and Chapa Herrera, who we already talked about already, that they need to disrupt in this one.
Yeah, they certainly got caught a little out of position on that goal, though. That will happen on occasion when Greenville get caught a little too far up the pitch, all overconfident, and Siobhan Marsh made them pay with that run up the middle and then the feed to Malongo and the beautiful finish as well.
Just ripped his laces through it, Maya Malongo. Flaming that one into the net to make it 1-0.
Oops.
Roberts had to do some improvisation there. It was right along the perimeter of the 18.
He did a good job. It was one of those situations where it was bouncing into no man's land. Somebody had to make a decision, and it was the right one in the end by Roberts. Took it out of Tajia Bush's hands.
And you don't want to get in a situation where the ball is still outside the penalty area, and then a Greenville player jumps in on it and can get around the goalkeeper for an easy goal. And split-second decisions like that can make a difference in a game. Velasquez tried the outside of the boot feed to Leo Castro. Polak. Gives it to Velasquez. Nifty step to his left, feeds Castro inside. Leo Castro tried to volley it. McKinnon goes down. Play keeps going on. Looked like McKinnon got his hand on it while he was on the ground. Schultz, curling ball inside. It's brought in and cleared out by Chattanooga. Lukic hands it out wide as Chattanooga try to get some possession, pushing forward. Hernandez draws the foul.
Greenville certainly had the better of the first 5 or 10 minutes of this game, but it's been all Chattanooga since then. Except for that half chance just there.
You see our officiating crew for this afternoon/evening matchup. Bush plays it up centrally. Looks like he may have hit the face of Nate Schultz as he was trying to bring it in. Siobhan Marsh slips it through to Mael Malongo. Malongo chips the keeper, but the flag went up. It'll stay 1-0, but another deadly exchange between Siobhan Marsh and Mael Malongo.
Yeah, you can see the understanding that these two have with each other. For Siobhan Marsh to let this go just a half second early. Talapala did a good job of just delaying, tracking back, otherwise he would have kept Malongo inside.
It's those kind of exchanges that could make these two guys such interesting players to watch, because either one of them can turn on the burners on a moment's notice and slip by a back line if you just get the timing on that pass right. It's what happened on the goal. It's what was happening there. They can create separation in a moment's notice. Mentioned already, an earlier kickoff than usual across USL League One. 4 p.m. Eastern time kick. Asked Rick Wright if he had any sort of thoughts about the fact that the game was starting a little bit earlier, and he said, well, we're used to having the heat. We train in it most of the time throughout the week. And it's hoping for some more families to be able to come out with the earlier kickoff time.
I'm not sure if they're done with school yet in Greenville County. Certain counties are certainly done with it.
I'll tell you a couple of places that it's wrapping up. I know in Chattanooga, a couple of players that are part of the Academy roster are missing out on the game today due to graduation this weekend.
Some excuse, Mark.
I just enjoyed when usually we get an availability report before the games that it'll list the player if they're out, and then it'll put in why they're out, and usually it's an injury. It'll be insert name, calf injury, insert name, sprain, something along those lines, and then it had these guys' names and it just said graduation. Here's an opportunity, fired on goal, and oh man, it's a wonderful strike from Hayden Anderson. Won the ball back in a nice spot, and he let it fly.
There's going to be some questions if there was a foul in the build-up to this. Regardless, a fine strike from Hayden Anderson.
The youngster from Greenville, just 23 years old, with his first professional goal. And what a first professional goal it is. Pick a corner.
Yeah, Velasquez certainly with a ton of contact on Paulo Hernandez. Referee Mario Maris let him play on though. Perhaps the no call caused the Red Bulls just to tune out for a second, and that was enough for Hayden Anderson to pile drive it home.
So Hayden Anderson, in his rookie campaign as a professional, coming over from Memphis, bringing this backwood to a goal apiece. Now we'll see how these two teams respond to this change in events. Will Greenville pick up some momentum here? Will Chattanooga find an answer? The Reedy River Riot certainly will be trying to carry the energy into this next span of the match. Always love some good drums, and also see a triangle in use.
Love a good triangle.
I'm a master of the triangle.
I'm sure there's more to it than we think there is, Mark, playing a triangle. Any percussionists out there, please reach out to us on Twitter. Let us know if that is the case.
One connection between those chanting fans and their percussion instruments and triangles, of course. Triangles with passing in soccer, always
like
a basic principle.
Castro's onside there.
Castro with some room to work with, too. Sends the ball in. And McKinnon pick up the pieces. He's actually going to leave it for Polak. Ball's back to McKinnon. And now Malongo will let it fall to his feet. Makes a move. Takes some contact. And now it's Castro once again. Velasquez will parry it out to him.
So Mario March certainly letting them play, and that's frustration there from Malongo, because you can see Scott McKenzie losing his mind. It looked like it was almost a professional foul on Malongo to stop the break. Siobhan Marsh is upset too, and he's going to get a card for dissent. I think he probably is quite right. I was waiting for the whistle. Malongo was on the break, and it looked like the Greenville player tried to take him down. This was the foul that was eventually called. That's just Malongo lashing out. Scott McKenzie letting his feelings known. Siobhan Marsh, rightly so, complaining about the no call.
Now it's a couple of incidences in a brief span of time, including what led up to that Hayden Anderson goal, that the fouls have not been called. Velasquez sends this one in. Still up in the air. Lukic gets a piece of it. Now Malongo will escort it out of play for a Chattanooga throw. I already mentioned Milo Malongo, a team that teams fear but don't quite have the game plan for just yet. I said for him, it's about sustaining and stringing a couple of good games together. He'll have a chance in this game. He's getting another start, and he's already gotten a goal in this one. It's about the consistency side of things. Hayden Anderson once again, one-on-one. Creates some space and couldn't quite keep it in bounds. He's trying to do his best Vinny impression there. Had a moment or two like that yesterday.
You mentioned Mario March letting them play. Problem is, let that happen too much. Turn into nasty tackles, and the players know that if they're going to get away with things, they're just going to keep escalating the challenges until they get a card. Mario Marsh is going to have to come down and calm down Scott McKenzie with a card, because things are just getting a little out of control in the dugout for the Rebels. But I think Scott McKenzie is well within his rights to be upset what's happened here in the last 5 minutes. Debatable no call right before the goal, and then a no call on Malongo.
Here's Malongo, being sandwiched by two Greenville defenders, Jamie Smith and Evan Lee.
Yeah, Jamie Smith versus Malongo is going to be an interesting duel to watch all night. Both very physical players.
See how Chattanooga works their way down the pitch here. Some persistence there means they can maintain possession. Christian Garner ending up with it here. Velasquez trying to wheel around his man, sends it forward for Evan Lee. Lee trying to thread it to McKinnon, but stepping on that one was Gustavo Fernandez.
Superb pass by Velasquez to Evan Lee. So he just brings that little bit of extra class to the Greenville midfield when he's on the field. Chance now though for Chattanooga.
Roberts curling ball inside into the arms of Christian Garner. Select the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Polak going forward once again. Gets it returned right back to him. Now Castro out to Anderson. Anderson with the service, looking for McKinnon, but it's too far. And out for a goal kick.
You see Tyler Polak this season pushed forward more than we've ever seen him. Still seeking his first goal in League One. Almost got one last week. It's going to come, Mark. I can feel it. I think this is the season.
You're saying it's the year. Roberts. He scored some big goals in his career. That one's knocked back by Smith. Garner does well to distribute it in a bit of a frantic situation to Nate Schultz.
I'm surprised he didn't pick that one up. Certainly wasn't an intended pass back by Jamie Smith. He just stuck his toe out. He ended up with Garner. Risky business.
There's always that window of interpretation
Yes,
of what counts as intentional pass back.
You certainly don't want to leave things in the hands of officials when you don't have to.
It's a very subjective sport. So much falls on intent.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, handballs are always the biggest one that we hear about. In my game in the championship last night, there was one which was given a penalty and then overturned by the assistant referee. Two different opinions, and the referee decided to go with his assistant's one. Whether it's intentional or whether the ball's in, whether the arm is in a natural position. All
yeah,
that
the natural position debate is.
As I said last night in the broadcast, I said depending how athletic you are, that really depends on what a natural position is. Some people jump a little more naturally than others, depending what your arms are doing. We're seeing a lot more nowadays of hands behind backs. We do have 2 feet on the ground.
Someone who doesn't have to worry about that is TJ Bush. At least not usually.
Not much you could do about that goal. Only one touch in the opposition box so far for Chattanooga in this one, and that was the goal. Greenville press. Ooh, got the ball first though.
Yeah, crunching challenge, but a fair one.
A risky challenge from Siobhan Marsh though, with a yellow card already to his name.
Marsh tapping it ahead. Ruiz gets this one out wide. Here's an opportunity for Chattanooga. Another entry into the box. 2 players tripping up, and it'll end up being in favor of Greenville.
Good body work in the end by Jamie Smith.
There's the debut of Owen Green. I'm going to look at this contact again. It's Jamie Smith. Not back up on his feet. I mean, that's not going to feel good.
There was a lot of weight of Owen Green landing on. It's the leg of Jamie Smith, but he seems to be all right. Talked about Owen Green with Scott McKenzie in addition. He wanted to sign him a few games ago, but there was some issues behind the scenes that they couldn't get him signed completely. So obviously fills a need there at right back.
Played over 2,000 minutes last year, had a goal and an assist with Lexington.
Yeah, he said he was surprised that nobody had signed him, but a guy with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, works hard every day, contributes positively. Led the league in interceptions last year. For some reason, wasn't retained.
Velasquez switches it over to Polak. Lee will play it up to Herrera. And McKinnon now, making his way into the 18. McKinnon back to the top. Here's a shot. And Evan Lee couldn't test DJ Bush enough.
Evan Lee really should have a brace in these first 35 minutes. Found himself in acres of space once again on the pullback. She just put it right at TJ Bush. Captain again tonight, in place of the injured Brandon Fricken.
Both of which were, as you mentioned, cut back passes from Liam McKinnon. Smith blows this one up to Anderson. He's able to chest it down, but then he gets bested by Owen Green. Polak trying to glide that one to McKinnon. Well done by Ruiz to play that forward from Malongo, and it'll end up being a Chattanooga throw. See Rick right at the bottom of your screen. I asked him if he's at the point in the season where he kind of has to understand the flow of being a head coach, if he's not really facing any new things nowadays, and he actually went with a bit of more of a broader answer there, and I think it was less about what he's used to and more about how everybody's gotten used to each other. They know what to expect of him. He knows what to expect of his coaching staff. The players know what's expected of them.
Listen, it certainly helped him a little bit that he was here for so many years before taking over, so they knew him as a person. Obviously a lot of new players as well, especially in that midfield. I guess you can entirely retooled midfield other than Evan Lee.
The organization as a whole have developed that trust in each other at this point, as Ruiz plays this one centrally, knocked out by Polak. He said, one thing about me as a head coach, or just in general, I'm a decisive person. When I make a decision, I'm going to stick with it.
Except when it's 3 or 4 at the back.
Fair play.
He's gone back and forth with that. We always talk to him about that. It is a group decision with him and his assistants. And we talked earlier in the season about the players having an impact in that too. They'll say, hey, in games, hey, can we go to 4? We're not feeling comfortable where we are as 3. And it's been 4 the last few games now. It's good to be able to have that ability to change formations if need be, particularly if the opposition is going with 3 or 4 at the back.
Lee knocks out to Polak. One of the first things he told us at the beginning of the year, he says the game is the greatest teacher. So always got to keep your mind open to new possibilities.
It's always one thing that coaches have to deal with, though, is how much do you adjust to the opposition, or do you just play your own thing and let them adjust to you? Different coaches, different philosophies regarding that. Rick Wright's one of those guys that don't like to worry too much about the opposition. For them, it's more just what they're more comfortable with at the back.
They're still waiting to get to that point in Chattanooga, given the fact that so much of that personnel is missing. For Papa Mensah, Pedro Hernandez, Lucas Coutinho, as this one slipped through, and TJ Bush once again making the stop. And that could have been a brace for Hayden Anderson.
Yeah, TJ Bush doing what he's been doing all season, making big saves. Well, another ball by Velasquez, defense splitting. He probably should have gone across to McKinnon on that one, Hayden Anderson. But when you got one goal under your belt, confidence level rises a little bit. Tried to go for 2.
There's Liam McKinnon. Plays it low. And that's out. It looks to be, I'm going to call it a goal kick.
It's an interesting one.
Velasquez saying that one's on him.
So a big part of his game is the set piece. Another reason Rick Wright love to get him back in the lineup.
As I was saying before that opportunity, I mean, the names that are missing from this Chattanooga team right now, Mensah, Coutinho, Philippe, Renteria. Omar Gomez is on the bench today, and he is on a minute restriction. And then, of course, Omar Hernandez serving the red card suspension.
Yeah, it's tough at this level. The higher levels of soccer, you just go out and buy other people, get people on loan. Not as easy to do at the League One level with the collective bargaining agreement. Limited budgets here and there. Certain teams with a little more budget than others.
Despite that, though, some calming words from Scott McKenzie when we chatted with him. He said, we're gonna hang on to this thing, and then when these guys get back, we're gonna get into a kickstart mode. He feels very confident in what this team can accomplish once they're healthy. And I mean, you hear those names that I just listed, and I full-heartedly believe him.
Listen, the competition for places is what you desperately need.
McKinnon trying to slip that one inside, and it's knocked outward. Here's Jamie Smith.
Watch out.
He's gonna take another distant shot. He's already scored one from about that area. Did it against Tormenta. Just a bomb from distance. This one, much less on target.
Almost an instant replay of that one. Didn't quite catch it as well this time.
Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157. North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 in the new Sirius XM app.
Scott McKenzie gonna have to figure out at halftime here how to get a little more action going in that final third. Just 2 shots. One obviously went in. You have to think that Greenville had a good chance of finding another. 9 shots for them already. 4 on target. Talk to Scott McKenzie about Chattanooga's inability to link passing together.
Long ball for Anderson, and he tried something ambitious there.
Trouble stringing past it together all season. The second, so that by far the worst passing team in the opponent's half this year in League One. Only 63.9% of passes being completed. I want to be up certainly in the mid to high 70s in that department. Obviously, the injuries haven't helped. You mentioned, Mark, 6 or 7 guys, and the majority of those you'd think would at least be in contention for starting positions, if not definite starters. Interesting to see as we play this second half how Scott McKenzie goes about things tactically. If they continue to stay tied with these 2 games coming up later this week, 3 games in 7 days, perhaps sit back a bit and just try for the draw. 3 points would obviously be huge and let you do a little more perhaps with those second games, but Omaha, Madison, listen, that's 2 of the most difficult challenges in League One.
You're going to get an Omaha team that's going to be looking to bounce back from losing for
they'll be angry.
The first time at Werner Park in what seems like forever. You'll see the highlights for that game and the rest of the games from yesterday during the halftime break, which is coming up in not too long. Polak pokes that one up for Castro. Castro trying to serve up Polak, and it'll be ushered out. Leo Fala, one of the center backs, able to prevent a fellow defender and Tyler Polak from getting there. TJ Bush will redistribute this one.
Taking his time. He knows he'd love to get to the half here with things all square. Sounds like the Reedy River Riot with a rendition of Take On Me by Aha in the background. I'll have to ask some questions about that with Rick Wright this week.
Mayama Longo, as we see, it'll be 2 minutes of added time here. Ruiz, send back to Hernandez. Now, we had 1 or 2 stoppages for fouling moments, 2 goals, but outside of that, for the most part, the game's just continued.
Unfortunately for Chattanooga, their last shot attempted on target or not was the goal by Malongo. So that tells you how this last half hour has gone. Greenville haven't been able to take advantage, though. That will at least please Scott McKenzie.
Smith plays it forward, headed along by Line McKinnon. Here's Velasquez, and the offside flag goes up. Sebastian Velasquez had some room to work with cutting inside, but he saw Castro making that run, but
it was a good job of stepping forward by the Red Wolves back four. Just letting Castro make that run. You'll see it here. Castro makes the run. They just let him go. Chattanooga back four. Played a decent amount to get, obviously, other than Owen Green. That's the other three. Roberts, Fowler, Fernandez. Certainly on the same page there.
Now that takes a level of trust to do that, especially with a guy who hasn't played a single match with you yet in gameplay. He's been with the team for a little while now, Owen Green, for a couple weeks. Just waiting for the business end of things to all get lined up. Two minutes have expired, so Greenville will need to push forward here, or they may get a whistle cutting them short. And that will do it. After 45 plus minutes, it's still tied up 1 goal apiece between Chattanooga and Greenville. A goal from that man, Hayden Anderson, his first professional goal, and another goal for Mael Malongo, his first goal in league play, after getting his first 2 last weekend in the Jägermeister Cup. We'll see after the halftime break what kind of adjustments these two sides make and how they'll look going into the second 45 minutes of action. Well, we've got some good halftime content coming your way on ESPN Plus, so we're going to step aside for just a brief moment, and then we'll be back with highlights from yesterday here. Your scoreline after 45, 1 apiece.
At Piedmont Natural Gas, being a part of the communities we serve is important to us, because to us, community begins with you. We strive to address the needs of our communities by investing time and resources to help improve the quality of life for our customers. For over 60 years, we have funded programs that support education, the environment, and community impact. Our Energy Assistance Program, Share the Warmth, helps customers pay their energy bills. We're committed to helping our neighbors by powering the vitality of our communities.
The lottery isn't about jackpot winners. It's about investing in our students. Even when it began in 2002, it was lottery proceeds that helped fund new technology initiatives in schools across South Carolina. And when students booted up those screens for the first time, they discovered a lifelong love of learning that shaped them into the professionals and people they are today. When you play the lottery, the real winners are always our students. After all, education is our middle name.
Welcome to Wood Creek Dental, where dental care is a family tradition. For over 40 years, we're proud to be a family-owned practice serving the community of Greenville, South Carolina. Our experienced dentists and dedicated staff are committed to your oral health. Experience the difference for yourself. Wood Creek Dental. Dental care from our family to yours.
South Carolina's economy is growing, bringing new businesses and opportunities. The need for electricity is growing too. At Duke Energy, we're meeting the challenge, providing even more electricity that's reliable, that stays affordable. To do this, we're investing in our communities with a diverse, balanced mix of energy sources and making targeted upgrades to the grid so that South Carolina can thrive in a smarter energy future.
Welcome back to Greenville, South Carolina. 1-1 your scoreline between the Triumph and the Red Wolves, two founding teams in USL League One. We had a lot of fun yesterday in the busiest day in USL history, but just 4 games across USL League One. So let's take a peek at all the highlights from the affairs on Saturday. Things kicked off at Bree Stevens Field between Forward Madison and Lexington, and it got started real early. The 3rd minute, Christian Cheney, service of Derek Gebhardt, knocks it home, makes it 1-0 for the Mingos. Then, just 6 minutes later, Aiden Macias makes it 2-0, and then Christian Cheney, in the 20th minute, makes it 3-0. It was a Madison onslaught to start things off. Then in the second half, Khalid Balogun gets taken down in the penalty area, and he would be the one to go to the spot and get that goose egg off the board for Lexington, but too little, too late for the visitors. And then a little insult to injury in favor of Forward Madison. John Murphy in the 92nd minute would make it 4 goals on the evening for the Mingos, and he would have quite the ecstatic celebration about it. What a victory for the Mingos against a juggernaut offensive side in Lexington. As we pivot over to our next game, a matchup between the Jacks and Tormenta over at American Legion Memorial Stadium. And it's Juan Carlos Obregon once again getting on the score sheet. Bit of a cough up from the keeper, but when you get a striker like that in the penalty zone, he's prone to score some goals. Mason Tunbridge, he could score a quality strike or two, dances around a couple defenders, slots it home to make it 1-1 in this one. And that is how the result would end. 1 point apiece for Mike Jeffries and Ian Cameron's respective crews. Now let's move over to Knoxville, where the Kickers and one Knoxville clash. Corner kick, Chandler O'Dwyer, 1-0 Richmond. The striker really coming into his own this season, just 8 minutes into the game, and it wouldn't be much later that they'd find a second goal. Adrian Billhardt's shot would bounce off of Sean Lewis, making it 2-0 in favor of the visiting Richmond Kickers. Then in the second half, Kempis Tequila would get tripped up, and then the penalty kick would be saved, but Tequila was there. Didn't take the penalty kick, but would be the one to score via the penalty kick. Then there would be more chances aplenty, but no more goals would be scored despite the fact that the Kickers had to play a man down for a good stretch of the second half. 2-1 your final score, the visiting Kickers victorious. Then we had one more game on the evening, and boy, was it a spicy one. Union Omaha on the Hailstorm. It was a stalemate for 45 minutes, then an added time. Pedro Dolabella would head it home, and you're thinking, all right, the Owls are going to go into the break. They've got the 1-goal lead. Now they just got to see it out for the next 45 minutes. But just moments later, Misael Rodriguez, the star goal scorer, gets his second yellow card. He gets sent off. He's pleading his case, but at this point, the decision has already been made by the head official. So although they've got the 1-goal advantage, Union Omaha are going to be down a man for 45 whole minutes. Tempers flared after that. Then the second half started, and the Hailstorm went to work. Billy King getting back to health, and now he's back on the score sheet. His first goal of the season. Then Bruno Rendon sprung free moments later. He scores the game-winning goal to make it 2-1, and for the first time since May of 2023, the Hailstorm beat Omaha. We're going to step aside. When we come back, news and notes here on ESPN+.
So asking some questions, and there's the equalizer. It's Rivas.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
They're hungry for the women's game. They want to see women's soccer. They want to play women's soccer, and that's what we're building at the USL.
You can see it in my eyes, only want the best. Running every night, won't settle for less. Got me looking to the sky, got me feeling blessed. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest. Burning up inside of my chest. Got this fire burning up inside of my chest.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
There's a new airline in town. Breeze Airways has arrived at GSP International Airport with nonstop flights to 5 cities nationwide. Enjoy low fares, no change or cancellation fees, and convenient nonstop service. Make your next trip seriously nice on Breeze Airways. Visit flybreeze.com to book your flight from GSP today.
Here are some news and notes from across the USL. First off, another chance to show up in the big leagues. USL on CBS returns in July and in August, starting with the Oakland Roots and Sac Republic in late July, 4 p.m. Eastern. Another chance to see the USL on nationally televised programming. Always excited to see how the league is expanding and having a bigger blanket of an audience. Meanwhile, also, when it comes to opportunity, Spokane Velocity today clashing with CD Guadalajara's U23 team. And then a special shout out for Nshuti Innocent getting the call up to the Rwanda national team for World Cup qualifiers. We always love to see when a USL League One guy gets a chance to represent his country. We also love to see some great highlights in USL League One. So we're going to step aside for a moment for the round 3 save and goal of the round.
Goal leader. McKinnon lets it fly. Oh, what a save. Carlos Mirancio.
Billhart. Adrian Billhart looks for space, looks for a shot, and a goal! Adrian Billhart, what a homecoming for him. Brace for impact because he's coming for the back of the net.
Of course, those were the highlights from last weekend's action in the Jägermeister Cup. Big congratulations to Carlos Mirancio, who made the team of the round with that big save on Line McKinnon. Also, Adrian Billhart also making an appearance after his number 2 in Sports Center top 10 plays goal in that game against Tormenta. Meanwhile, Mael Malongo, though, we've already talked about it. 2 goals, 1 assist in that game against Lexington, and then Tyler Polak also making an appearance in the team of the round. But that's all from last week. What's coming up next week in the Jägermeister Cup for round 4? Here are the clashes pending. First off, for the Red Wolves, they will be playing Forward Madison, a red-hot Mingo side. Meanwhile, it's Tormenta once again for the Greenville Tribe, a classic rivalry in USL League One. Going at it once again, should be a lot of fun. Both games kicking off at 7:30 Eastern time. But that's next week. We still got 45 more minutes here. So let's step aside. When we come back, we'll have the highlights, we'll have the stats from the first half of action, and then we'll get things going again for the second half here on ESPN+.
It starts with only one tap to have total home control with Priority One Security. You can view your cameras and video doorbells, integrate our smart locks, lights, thermostats, and control your garage doors. Customize your smart devices to fit your schedule with our automated controls for a smart, effective, and secure way to protect your home. Experience total control and complete security from the convenience of our one app, one tap smart security and home automation on demand. Call Priority One Security and tap that app. Official partner of the Greenville Triumph.
At Piedmont Natural Gas, being a part of the communities we serve is important to us because to us, community begins with you. We strive to address the needs of our communities by investing time and resources to help improve the quality of life for our customers. For over 60 years, we have funded programs that support education, the environment, and community impact. Our Energy Assistance Program, Share the Warmth, helps customers pay their energy bills. We're committed to helping our neighbors by powering the vitality of our communities.
You've never been afraid to put in the work. The extra early, extra late, extra work. Because you understand that education is the key that unlocks everything. Better pay, better hours, better opportunities, a better you. And playing the lottery is no different. Getting educated before you play gives you the tools you need to be a better player. Like knowing when to play and when to take a rain check. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to be a better player.
This evening's USL League One broadcast is brought to you by ScanSource, the official partner of the Greenville Triumph. Let's take a look at the first half highlights between the Greenville Triumph and the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Mark Schoenster, Ross Davenport with you here. Starting off with this chance for Evan Lee. Looking like it wasn't going to quite be on target. Went off of one Hayden Anderson, who would end up getting on the score sheet later. But the first one to score was Mael Malongo.
Yeah, Greenville just caught napping a little bit in the midfield. You can see here Siobhan Marsh with the assist, his first assist on the season. Mael Malongo with his first goal in league action after scoring his first 2 goals the previous weekend in the Jägermeister Cup. And then you see there a challenge from Sebastian Velasquez. Some contact on Leopoldo Hernandez. But Hayden Anderson didn't hear a whistle and rocketed that one up into the roof on that goal. And the chances would come once again for Anderson, but TJ Bush does well there. Get his boots on it, deny that entry. And with that, it would be 1-1 between these two sides as we see the halftime stats brought to you by Coca-Cola. The shot disparity pretty large here, Ross. Yeah, Greenville will be disappointed they didn't put at least 1 or 2 more goals on the board in that first half. We'll see if it costs them in the second 45. And we're hearing of a quite significant change in the Greenville midfield of the break as well.
Oh, it's no use beating around it. Ben Zakowski subbing in for Sebastian Velasquez, so perhaps not entirely back up to match fitness, or you hope it wasn't because he picked up a knock in that first half. Zakowski, though, always a good substitution for Sebastian.
Yeah, we can't really speculate at this point. Hopefully just a precautionary thing. Obviously a guy who hasn't played a ton of minutes. Maybe a planned thing even. Let's find out in the middle of next week. Zakowski, yeah, what a job he did filling in for Velasquez while he was out injured.
And here we go. It was tied up to start the game, obviously, and it's still tied up now. As we just saw, though, the shot disparity pretty wide between the two, as Evan Lee had one of those shots. Pauses, plays it in the middle, and a wind-up effort! It's cleared off the line and saved by Bush! But now they pointed to the penalty spot.
I'm not sure what happened there. So let's take, I was focused on the ball. Was there something off the ball? Let's take a look here. Evan Lee cut back to his right foot. Did it hit a hand? Oh.
They're going to say it's a handball.
It was man, I think it was accidental, if anything. I'm not sure, unless the hand really kept it out, or the arm.
Well, it doesn't look like a booking has been issued yet for the handball.
Javon Marsh needs to walk away because he's already got a yellow card for dissent. Doesn't want to end up in the book again. Jamie Smith, who has taken over the role of penalty taker, not with authority at times.
So Gustavo Fernandez, the one who made the sliding stop, came off his hand. He will get booked.
I think it has to be an automatic booking, right? If you technically stop a goal with your hand.
Even if it was an entirely
He's lucky.
accidental.
Yeah, I wonder what the rules is for accidental versus intentional. Obviously considered it accidental. Intentional would have been a red.
Jamie Smith from the penalty spot. An early chance to give Greenville the lead in this second half. And Smith is denied. TJ Bush keeps it at 1 apiece. For a moment, it looked like a miraculous stand to maintain a drawn game, then a point to the spot. Earning some despair here for Chattanooga, but they stepped up anyway.
That's a well-struck penalty and a quality save by TJ Bush. Perhaps justice done in the end.
At the end of all that, the only thing left is a yellow card on Gustavo Fernandez.
Certainly an interesting way to start the second half.
Buckle in. As you saw in the highlights during halftime, had a lot of excitement yesterday. Looks like it's maintaining here going into Sunday. It's a loose touch. Zakowski over to Anderson, but he was offside. Our assistant official keeping his eyes sharp. So 2 huge chances for Greenville. Still 1-1.
How many missed penalties? Well, I'm going to say I don't like the word missed because it wasn't a miss. It was a good save by TJ Bush. Rick Bay always talks to us about that. Missed penalties versus saved penalties, but unconverted penalties, that's what we have to 4 now or 5. Certainly had their fair share of PKs this year.
Starting to get some rain here in Greenville. It'll help cool it down a little bit, at least temperature-wise. Some slippage on the pitch can also, in return, mean some great opportunities offensively. Castro going forward, taps it over to Herrera.
Yeah, it's 5 missed penalties this season, not counting shootouts. Actually, counting shootouts, Tyler Pollack had one saved last weekend against Spokane.
Herrera switches it over to Castro. Castro could shoot from here. He opts not to. And then that pass too far ahead of line. McKinnon out for a goal kick. So Greenville picking up right where they left off as far as the pressure that they're applying to this Chattanooga side. Right now, it's still level, and Chattanooga proved all it takes is one moment and they can capitalize off of it. They've got some dudes at the top of the formation that, if a window of opportunity is presented, they can gash right through it.
Yeah, going back to penalties, that's 3 of 5. The website I use says not in penalties, which I like. Yeah, Castro missed the first one. Liam McKinnon missed one. Now Jamie Smith.
Smith is fetching for Liam McKinnon there. Zakowski going airborne, can't get the ball down. Chattanooga now have it. Giving right back to Zakowski. Lead to Polak. Some pressure there from Owen Green, causing some withdrawing from Greenville. That one headed away by, appears to be Gustavo Fernandez. And now Chattanooga. This one slipping forward for Marsh, but just too far ahead of him.
Christian Garner hasn't had his hands on the ball much tonight. One save, excuse me. That's right, 0 saves. One shot on goal. That went in. Not much fun when you're a keeper. Shove in the back from Zakowski. He's a keeper when you stand around a little too much, then get called into action is a tough one sometimes. Good to get your hands and feet on the ball like Garner did there.
Let's keep that blood flowing.
Shots now 12-2 in favor of Greenville, obviously the penalty included in that. Leo Castro's had a relatively quiet game so far. Fall and Fernandez have done a good job keeping him in check.
Here's the aforementioned Castro now. He has to go backwards. Anderson. And the feed Herrera. Let's see if Chattanooga could do anything here. Malongo up against Schultz.
It's great work by Schultz. Polak was out of position, as was Daniel Wood. Had to cover for Polak. I think Schultz coming in all the way from his right back spot to deny Malongo.
Schultz in his 3rd year with the Greenville Triumph. Came in as a last-minute addition back in 2022. Ruiz from the corner kick, plays it short. Played right back to him. Ruiz sends it inside. Player goes down, no whistle blown.
That one could have gone absolutely anywhere. Played in with such pace. Love to see it. Just forces defenders to make a quicker decision when the ball is played in with pace.
Long ball going forward for Green. Green with a nice touch. Owen Green playing it centrally. And after the deflection, it's headed in. Siobhan Marsh recaptures the advantage for Chattanooga.
What a ball to Owen Green in an advanced position, and Tyler Polak just got a little unlucky. Siobhan Marsh, the recipient of that gift. Here's another look at it here. A lovely first touch by Green. And Polak just stuck his foot out. And unfortunately went right to the head of Siobhan Marsh, and he deposited it into the back of the net. One of the easier ones he'll score in his career. I'm not sure if Siobhan Marsh has scored too many headers.
Yeah, just standing at around 5'3". Siobhan Marsh, not the biggest guy on the pitch, but his presence is felt. And they always say it, one of the talents of a striker is just being at the right place at the right time. That's his first goal in league play this season, has one Jägermeister Cup goal. And Chattanooga have the lead for a second time today.
2 shots on target, 2 goals. I was talking to you before the game how efficient of shooters they are. One of the most accurate shooting teams in the league. Proved to be right tonight. When they've had the chances, they've put them on frame.
Malongo cuts inside. Malongo still with it. Had to do what he could to keep it in bounds. No one was around for it around the penalty marker. And just like last time they scored, now Chattanooga with a bit of a push offensively. And now we've got our second substitution. Once again, for Rick Wright, Zion Scarlett comes in. One youngster for another. And the goal scorer, Hayden Anderson, sees his evening concluded.
There's 4 goals allowed this season in the first 15 minutes of the second half by Greenville. That's the most in USL League One. It's a yellow card for somebody on Chattanooga. He's hustling away from the referee. We didn't get a chance to see exactly who it was.
It will be Owen Green, who won't be credited with the assist.
Yes, I was going to say.
On that.
He deserves one, though. Nice to have one. His work and that lovely touch and ball in that forced a missed kick from Tyler Polak. One of 3 points this would be if Chattanooga could pull it out.
And here's another opportunity. Siobhan Marsh beats the keeper, and it's into the back of the net.
Greenville all over the place. And Siobhan Marsh taking advantage once again.
A tragic moment for Greenville and a drastic one for Chattanooga. You were just saying it is a busy week for the Red Wolves against quality teams. And if they could start it off with a victory.
Yeah, Nate Schultz looked up, did not see where Siobhan Marsh was. Tried to pass it back to Christian Garner. Garner was left in no man's land. He was never going to get there. Quality finish in the end by Marsh. He still had a lot of work to do. This is what this front line can do. What a partnership these two have formed.
And now a substitution for Chattanooga coming into this game as Siobhan Marsh continues to celebrate with his team. And it's the return of one of those key players that Scott McKenzie's been awaiting the return of. Omar Gomez will now come into the match. He'll replace Leopoldo Hernandez. And once again, just a reminder about how this half started with the near goal opportunity cleared off the line with the arm of Gustavo Fernandez, which meant a penalty, which was then saved by TJ Bush. And now Chattanooga has 2 goals in the span of moments.
Gomez already around the ball.
Jamie Smith trying to find McKinnon. That's a good touch from McKinnon, splitting the defender. He gets pushed down, no whistle called.
That's a penalty.
And now that one will be going to the spot.
Silly from Jameel Roberts. Going away from goal. There's a fine challenge there from Fernandez. Lukic almost won it back there. You can't leave your feet in the box like that. The center back going away from goal. Oh, what a start to this half, Barker.
Yeah, this game has gotten out of hand.
It will not be Jamie Smith. This time it will be Evan Lee, captain.
Lee with 1 goal this season. It was in the season opener against Spokane.
Also made a penalty in the shootout last weekend.
Up against TJ Bush. And Evan Lee hits the woodwork.
My, oh my.
Zakowski back inside. McKinnon. Well off target. Volleyed back up by Zakowski. Bush punches it out. What a zany turn of events that this game has had.
Evan Lee should have a hat-trick in this game. There's no doubt about it. It was a similar run-up to what he did last weekend with the little stutter at the end. He struck it well, but too high. Going top corner, always a risk. Just need Tyler Polak goal now, Mark, to complete the chaos. Maybe he should. He missed a penalty. Maybe he made his penalty last week. He would have taken that one. Here's another look at it. Bush went the right way, but he was beaten. And Evan Lee not for the first time tonight with his hands to his mouth in disbelief that he hasn't scored.
So 54th minute, 57th minute, Siobhan Marsh goals. Then a penalty 3 minutes later off the woodwork that then resulted in some ridiculous volleying back into the box for follow-up opportunities. Now Tyler Pollock goes into the books, his 4th yellow card of the season. Ross, whenever we get these games that aren't on Saturdays, sometimes they just, mayhem ensues.
I mean, the first half didn't contain a ton of mayhem, but it all just happened in the first 15 minutes of the second half. Contained mayhem. We'll see if things continue. Obviously, Greenville are going to have to try and push some bodies forward now to salvage something from this game.
Marsh goes down. Jamie Smith pleading his case.
Here's the battle we talked about earlier. Malongo against Smith. You see what Jamie Smith is saying, that Malongo putting the pressure on Smith just gave up his ground, and as a result, Malongo fell.
A very demonstrative arguing there from Jamie Smith.
Listen, a savvy forward with his back to goal will win that decision, at least outside the box, a good chunk of the time.
Stefan Lukic bringing in this ball, headed away by Lee. Another Chattanooga throw incoming. Owen Green. Toss this one in. Gomez with a stutter. Still Gomez. We'll see who it's out on. It's out on Jamie Smith. Corner kick for Chattanooga.
At this time, we would like to announce tonight's Bud Zero safe driver.
Once again, 2 goals scored here in the second half by Siobhan Marsh. And if you wanted to be particularly mean, you could just say assisted by Tyler Pollock and Nate Schultz. One of which maybe a little bit more critical than the other as far as the level of responsibility.
Yes.
Service coming in, headed away easily for Greenville. But Marsh, once again cooking. Schultz, excuse me, that was Lukic. Ball comes in, still in the mix of things. And out for a goal kick. That was Leo Falla. Had the last crack at it after Malongo was able to get his head on the ball. Put it towards frame.
Yeah, Leo Falla, you're wanting that one back. Really should be 4-1.
Not kept in, it's a Greenville throw. USL League One is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. McKinnon driving this one forward. Herrera. Send it over to his right. It's Nate Schultz. Now McKinnon. Curling ball comes in. Castro comes off of him, but he couldn't quite get that one into his feet to test TJ Bush. I mentioned before the game started as this one's going to be a corner kick that Ryan McKinnon typically plays on the left-hand side. That's where he's at now. Zion Scarlett now playing on the right. Zakowski with the ball in, headed over top.
It is fun around the world night tonight at Paladin Stadium. Special group World Relief Upstate South Carolina commemorating World Refugee Day. I'll give a shout out to Abdi Mohammed, former Greenville Triumph man. He was a refugee from Kenya, moved here as a youngster, signed for the rest of the season with New Mexico United earlier this week. Congrats to Abdi. A couple of seasons with Columbus Crew 2 after leaving Greenville. Didn't find himself a home till earlier in May with New Mexico. He's been playing superbly and earned himself a full deal for the rest of the season. Good stuff there.
Play goes on according to our head official, Marsh. Has the ball now.
Listen, Leo Castro is not one to go down easily. I'd like to see a replay of this one. There's an elbow involved, and Mario March missed it. Not the first thing he's missed tonight, I would say. Scott McKenzie would agree. You can see Leo Castro making his point. There's an elbow in there. May have been accidental.
Well, that was Gustavo Fernandez, the one who looked to be trying to build a bridge there between him and Leo Castro after the fact. Fernandez is on a yellow card. Castro will make his way back into the game. It'll be a drop ball for Chattanooga. Busy week for the Red Wolves, and which means won't be a lot of intensive training this week. It will be mainly videos and recovery for Scott McKenzie's side. Like I said, at this point, we don't even have the bodies to rotate to manage minutes. You just got to go out there and play.
I had one of their games earlier this season. I asked him, he had a bit of a tight schedule, and I said, what are your thoughts on rotation? He said, I don't really have the luxury of that, unfortunately.
So although you can point to these things and make the excuses, Scott McKenzie said, though, with the opposition we're facing, it's also a great opportunity to prove ourselves. And if they can start off this week with a win against the top of the table Greenville Tribe before going up against Union Omaha and Fort Madison, two other teams also occupying the top of the table in league play, this is a good way to set the tone.
There's no such thing as a free shot in soccer, but see 3 points here. I said earlier, I think if Scott McKenzie got 3 draws out of these games in the week, he would have been okay. He got 3 points out of this one. Takes a little bit of the pressure off at home against two of the top sides in the league. Madison still without a loss.
And not only are they winning, they're winning big right now. They've gone to Spokane and dropped 3 on them, and then dropping 4 on Lexington yesterday.
Many people, me from particular, looks at that Madison roster at the start of the year and the amount of League One experience and players who have got a solid resume at all levels. We would have expected them to do well this season. It took them a little while to get going. Yeah, looking almost unstoppable at the moment, but Omaha the same. We thought they were unstoppable and they lost yesterday. Oh, that's lovely.
Ruiz trying to send it inside. And Zakowski springing Zion Scarlett. Scarlett with a physical check there with Siobhan Marsh.
Careful, careful.
It was hefty. But the ref says it's all fair game.
It was fine, but it was inches from not being.
Zakowski. Over to Castro. Castro inside, saved by Bush. Whether that was a shot or a cross in looking for Scarlett, either way, it's smothered by TJ Bush. Daniel will hold on to it for a moment before giving it to Jamie Smith. He's got Malongo chasing him. Chattanooga have scored twice in this second half, courtesy of Siobhan Marsh, and have also denied 2 penalties, or have not had 2 penalties get scored on. One of them saved by Bush, the other going off the woodwork. Polak pokes it forward for Herrera. Nice ball from Herrera going forward. Zakowski Still with it. Benzakowski shoots! And it's denied by Bush. Not a bad effort from the rookie Benzakowski, but TJ Bush is able to stretch out for it.
Benzakowski with the turn here, and a little shimmy inside. Wasn't much room. Bush saw it late, perhaps, but he cut down well, as he has done all night, all season, to be honest. Keeping this Chattanooga team in so many games.
Service comes in. Although it looked like it may have made contact with the Chattanooga player, it'll get all the way across and out for a deep throw. And with Hayden Anderson no longer in the game, they don't have the option of the long throw-in. And a free kick incoming after Jamie Smith gets fouled by Ruiz.
Chattanooga's first 3-goal game since that US Open Cup went over Brockton. They only scored twice. One other time in the league. That was over Fuegos. They haven't played many league games. A couple against the Legion in that crazy US Open Cup game as well. Very late ones there.
Greenville looking to find an answer back to get within one. Zakowski from the free kick spot. Sends this one in. And not much of it. Jamie Smith. Goes back to Herrera. Herrera, a bit too much juice on that pass to Schultz. So he'll go out for a goal kick. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. See how much encouragement this coaching staff offers to this Greenville side. I talked about bench communication to guys on the pitch with Rick Wright earlier this week, and about how much communication occurs between the bench and the players on the pitch. And he said, well, it kind of depends on the environment. Like in Spokane last week, the guys probably couldn't hear anything that I was saying. And he also mentioned that at the beginning of the year, he did a lot more talking, and he's dialed back on it. Once again, there's that physical bout between Malongo and Jamie Smith. Well, that's one adjustment that Rick Wright has made. And on the topic of decision making, I talked to Scott McKenzie about how much more freedom he feels he has this year, no longer as the interim man versus how he was that last season. And he mentioned, honestly, he operated as if it was his ship until someone told him it wasn't. And lo and behold, it became his ship. Or I guess it continued to be his ship, would be the better way to put it. Another corner kick for Greenville. Zakowski, the one to provide the service. A lot of green jerseys sitting just outside the 18. And a scuffle has broken out right along the goal line. A player is on the ground for Chattanooga. And it looks like Evan Lee's right in the middle of it for Greenville.
TJ Bush playing peacemaker.
Let's wait and see what just happened. You probably heard of the PA system. You see him right there. Pascal Corvino subbing into the game. And now Jamie Smith is on the ground.
Evan Lee in the box.
So Lee just pushing a player down.
And then with some words after the shove. See what kind of look the assistant referee had it. I think Jamie Smith also down. Tends to spend a lot of time on the ground, Jamie Smith, for good and bad reasons. Yellow card, perhaps the appropriate answer here.
Some consultation.
The right pocket rather than the back pocket. Definitely, look, I just pushed him.
Everything still trying to get cleared up here.
Having about 15 different discussions in the 6-yard box. Declan Waters trying to organize his team. Stefan Lukic getting up after perhaps making a little bit of a meal of it. These two still going at it. Right, certainly a frustrated figure in this one. I didn't see a card being issued.
Looked like some notes were being taken, though, by the head official. So if we
look at it later, perhaps
get any confirmation on that, we'll be sure to relay that to you all viewing from home.
Leo Castro getting involved with Lukic. We talked about this earlier. Mario Maris letting things go early in the game and led to this a little bit.
And you couple that with the frustration Greenville are surely feeling at this point in time, down 2 goals despite having a lot more of the shots in this game. Their expected goals is 2.85 to Chattanooga's 0.9. Zakowski swings it in and the whistle blows. And Greenville won't even get a chance on the corner kick after some contact in the penalty area once again.
So part of the problem is when you allow the contact, there's going to be contact all over the place, and then you just end up pick and choosing what to look at. It goes either way.
And it's always tough on corner kicks because 99% of the time there's contact on a corner kick.
Of course, it's just like holding in football. But you know Mario Maris was just waiting to blow the whistle there on something. Let's get the ball out of there. Get this nonsense over with and get this game back going again.
This one's out. It'll be a Greenville throw-in. And there's Pascal Corvino, subbed on for Tyler Polak before that kerfuffle.
Yeah, so that does mean Greenville goes 3 at the back now. Tyler Polak leaving. Smith, Wu, and Schultz.
That substitution brought to you by Spinks. Scarlett, we got a piece on that one. And he kept it in bounds. McKinnon sends in the cross. And I believe that's Corvino who goes down. It'll be a goal kick. Jamil Roberts, the one colliding with him.
Certainly a lot of contact. Let's see if it was a 50-50 challenge or if Roberts got there early. Yeah, it's all right, nothing. And then I don't think Corvino went down a little easily. Roberts with a lean, perhaps.
They may have had an arm on his back just a smidge, but I mean, you go up for an airborne ball, yeah.
It's part of the game. So we're going to have plenty of stoppage time at the end of this half.
Now trainer's going to be waved on for Jamil Roberts. We're definitely going to have a wealthy dosage of added time once we hit 90.
I mentioned the short bench for Chattanooga. Scott McKenzie doesn't have many options if Jamil Roberts can't continue here. You hear Paez. He does have midfielders that can play at the back. He's got a lot of midfielders that have done that.
That came in today with just 5 players on the bench. He's used one of those substitutions to bring Omar Gomez in, who was already a player who could not play but so many minutes in this game.
Declan Waters certainly capable of dropping back into the back line if needed.
He's also offering a lot of chances for these players to exchange words with each other. It's been quite the dramatic second half.
In spurts. Yes, especially the first 15 minutes. It's been a fun second half, especially for the neutrals tuning in on Sunday.
And no other League One games to avert your eyes to. I believe just one other USL Championship game taking place here this evening.
Jamie Smith's dad in coaching action. Atlanta taking on Charlotte. Charlotte coached by Dean Smith. You mentioned Jamie's dad. Atlanta is 1-1 at the break.
Zakowski working his way into the 18. Ben Zakowski plays it out wide. Here's a winding effort.
Ooh, that hurt.
That was a body block. Evan Lee. Over to Zion Scarlett. Scarlett with the effort, and it's deflected out for a corner kick. That block shot, much akin to playoff hockey that we've been seeing over the past few weeks. High velocity ball from Pascal Corvino was denied. Now here's a corner kick. Punched away by Green. Excuse me, TJ Bush. I don't want Green on my mind there, Ross.
When Green's punching things away, will be another penalty.
Good step there from Corvino. The clearance will be provided. Some traffic there for Ruiz to operate with, but he's able to tap it back to one of his defenders to boot up the pitch. We're getting to that point in the game now where Chattanooga can go into gamesmanship mode where they're just clearing that ball out, hanging on to this 2-goal lead.
They tried to hold on to a lead last week. We saw what happened there.
Certainly far from over, especially with the high volume of shots and opportunities offensively for the Greenville Triumph. And as we mentioned before the game started, they're one of the highest scoring teams in the league. As a matter of fact, they are now tied for that mark after Madison passed them yesterday at 16. Zakowski, service inside. Couple bodies fall into the ground. Herrera with 3 green jerseys there. And it hits the white jersey of Jameel Roberts. Owen Green knocking that one away. Scarlett once again. Zion Scarlett cuts to his left. And then that one deflected out by Green.
Scarlett makes a big difference when he comes off the bench this season. Perhaps hasn't got as many minutes as he'd like to have gotten.
Will be McKinnon again on the corner kick. McKinnon driving it in. It was Leo Castro who was streaking down the middle, searching for that ball.
One start in the last 4 for Zion Scarlett in League One. And lasted 45 minutes in that start.
Zakowski takes the effort himself, and not too challenging for TJ Bush, right at eye level.
This is 6th save to match his season high.
Of course, one of those saves being a denial from the penalty spot. Like 2 years with Tormenta before coming over to play for Chattanooga this season. As part of that championship winning team 2 years ago. Interchanging between him and Pablo Jara. Ruiz floats this one up for Malongo. Malongo with the volleyed effort. It's going to be a tough ask for him. He has 1 goal in this game, Mael Malongo. Nearly had a second. The offside flag going up, though, denying that opportunity.
This is 4th shot of the contest. Just the one on target that went in.
Marsh turns and starts running. And when he starts running, it's hard to keep up with him.
A hat trick. Just a heavy touch there. Let him down a little bit.
Schultz will find Herrera. Time dwindling away here for Greenville. Down 2 goals despite a lot of the statistical advantages. Herrera plays it over to Nate Schultz once again. Talked a lot about the upcoming schedule for Chattanooga. Greenville, their next game will be next Sunday, so on a Sunday schedule here, playing like an NFL team right now. They'll be on the road against Tormenta in the Jägermeister Cup, which will mean that they'll be done with their Jägermeister Cup bouts with Tormenta. This ball's curled in, headed out. Lee to the right-hand side. This ball ripped in the middle. Evan Lee follows through, denied. Didn't reach Bush. Now Corvino with a step, plays it back to Schultz. Schultz with the curler in. Herrera is able to get by Malongo, and then Chapa Herrera shoots, and it's a goal kick. So TJ Bush didn't need to step up to the plate in that particular instance, but he's made 6 saves in this game, as you mentioned, ties his season high. And here's a look at all of them. First off, denying Hayden Anderson there in a scary moment after conceding to Anderson a little bit before that. And then that's the big one right there. You mentioned it. Well-struck penalty from Jamie Smith. And TJ Bush was able to deny it. Also a good stop there. Zakowski with the effort.
She did a great job on the penalty of reclaiming that ball, denying any rebound because the ball's going back towards the penalty spot.
Yeah, it's one thing to get a piece of it, but with the amount of pace that Jamie Smith hit it with, if he had just gotten a piece of it, it was going to bounce straight back out, right into the danger zone. And here's Siobhan Marsh. He's on a hat trick. Marsh, that's a good tackle. Jamie Smith just sliding in, keeping that ball from getting anywhere.
Yeah, see Jamie Smith running out of gas. That was certainly the last of his legs there.
He had to do 2 things there, not only keep Siobhan Marsh from shooting, but also prevent the squared ball to Mael Malonga, who was waiting oh so open. Another corner kick, though, for the Red Wolves. Cyrus comes bending in. That had a lot of width to that ball. Declan Waters couldn't keep it down, though.
It's a perfect delivery. Declan Waters coming in at pace.
2 substitutions incoming for Scott McKenzie's side. So, Siobhan Marsh and Mael Malongo's nights are concluded. Just had a big opportunity moments ago. But it'll be Yair Paez making his 3rd appearance in league play. And then making his 2nd appearance in league play is Stefan Svetovic. Yair Paez from Dalton, Georgia. And Svetanovic from Belgrade, Serbia.
Legendary scorer at the NAIA level.
They'll be looking to see this one through for the Red Wolves. Scarlett couldn't quite get there in time. Well closed off by Fala. And another goal kick incoming.
Also incoming is how many minutes of stoppage time we're going to see here. Something going to be high single digits, she'd have to think.
We will get 7. So you can see indicated on the clock. Paez against Daniel Wu. And Wu couldn't get that one to Garner. But then a free kick is awarded.
He got clattered by Paez after the wayward back pass. Frustrating night for the Triumph. Certainly done enough to win this game. 22 shots, 14 of them inside the box, but only 1 finished off. That's really going to be what's the difference in this game is, as Oliver Hald comes on.
Another Spinks substitution for you there. He's stepping on for Nate Schultz. Hald. Long ball at the pitch. It's Scarlett. It's cleared away. Over to the Reedy River Riot section. McKinnon bending it in, headed away. Time becoming of the essence now for Greenville. Zakowski puts this one up, searching for Castro. Service comes in, brought down by McKinnon. McKinnon trying the shot. Didn't get very far. Now Scarlett tapping it to Herrera.
Yeah, Stefan Lucas is going to need a second. He took that one right off the jaw. Try and walk it off now, but that one's going to hurt tomorrow.
I got a mouthful there.
Scott McKenzie said he wanted to limit Chapo Herrera's impact tonight. I think he did it. Obviously, the loss of Velasquez at halftime may have made a big difference in this one. You don't want to risk re-injuring that hamstring.
Maybe another chance here for Chattanooga. Already up 2 goals. Lukic takes the shot, and it's just wide.
That would have made the jaw feel better if he'd put that one in.
Stefan Lukic turned 28 yesterday. Would have been a nice little belated birthday gift to himself. Right idea there, trying to pick the corner, but drifted just too far wide. Last week, it was 2 goals conceded in stoppage time for Chattanooga that turned a victory against Lexington into a loss. Trying to hold on here. Secure all 3 points against the top of the table, Greenville Triumph on the road. This ball is being headed up. Evan Lee with the volley. Out for a goal kick. We've got another substitution making his debut with the Chattanooga Red Wolves, Fernando Guerrero. One of the guys on an academy contract for Scott McKenzie. Really excited about the potential that this kid's got. He'll sub on for Jameel Roberts from Dalton, Georgia. When he was announced as one of those academy contract guys, Scott McKenzie said that they invited him to training and he terrorized some of the first team guys.
Love it. Exciting time for the youngsters. Get out there now and run around a bit. Cause some havoc.
McKinnon. Now that one deflected away. McKinnon again. With Lukic in front of him. Sprays it out wide for Scarlett. Scarlett cuts it back inside, and it's at the feet of Guerrero.
Pass there sums up the night. I think for Greenville, a frustrating one. 3rd game in a row with 1 goal or less. Chances were there, the finishing just letting them down once again. Chattanooga giving up a ton of shots the last 3 games, but we'll pull the 3 points out here, it looks like. Well deserved.
Evan Lee will play this back to Christian Garner. Lukic will pop this one forward. Can Svetanovic get there? He can't. But he couldn't keep it in bounds.
Just looking out the corner of my screen to see where Christian Garner was, but he decided to stay on his line. Now we got 2 balls on the pitch.
Svetanovic was able to get around the keeper, but perhaps not quite acquainted with the turf here. And that ball just kept rolling. Always one of those big differences between turf and grass is that the ball is not as prone to slow down on the turf. Scarlett inside for Zakowski. And with just 30 seconds left of the added 7 minutes, Chattanooga making a statement here as Svetanovic is waved off.
Monster confidence building 3 points for Scott McKenzie's men. Taking to those very difficult matches coming up this week. There's going to be some tired legs out there though after this one. They'll certainly feel better with the 3 points behind them. Ooh.
That one punched over by TJ Bush as he slunks into the net.
He actually hit the bar. Bush didn't get a touch in it. He's in the back of the net. Yeah, the bus trip back home tonight will be a fun one, that's for sure. Greenville back to a week of practice and try and figure out this finishing situation. 24 shots, 8 on target. Don't get me wrong, TJ Bush made some quality saves, but Greenville really should have put more. Again, XG of over 3 and only 1 on the scoreboard. Just one of those strange ones tonight.
It's a defiant victory for the Chattanooga Red Wolves, going on the road and knocking off the top of the table Triumph. Just 5 men on the bench, and Scott McKenzie's side perseveres through it. Big victory for the Chattanooga Red Wolves. And there's a look at TJ Bush. Lots of saves in this one, including that critical penalty denier that kept the game at 1 apiece, and then led to moments later 2 goals for Chattanooga to win this one 3-1. We're gonna step aside for a moment. When we come back, we'll have our post-game thoughts here on ESPN+.
There's a new airline in town. Breeze Airways has arrived at GSP International Airport with nonstop flights to 5 cities nationwide. Enjoy low fares, no change or cancellation fees, and convenient nonstop service. Make your next trip seriously nice on Breeze Airways. Visit flybreeze.com to book your flight from GSP today.
Every lottery ticket purchase keeps education in our state moving forward. Like in 2005, when lottery proceeds helped purchase new school buses that kept South Carolina students on the road to success. Because arriving safely to school every day is the first important step on their journeys to the careers and lives they've always dreamed of. When you play the lottery, you're helping fund the futures of students all over our state, which is why education is our middle name.
It starts with only 1 tap to have total home control with Priority One Security. You can view your cameras and video doorbells, integrate our smart locks, lights, thermostats, and control your garage doors. Customize your smart devices to fit your schedule with our automated controls for a smart, effective, and secure way to protect your home. Experience total control and complete security from the convenience of our 1 app, 1 tap smart security and home automation on demand. Call Priority One Security and tap that app. Official partner of the Greenville Triumph.
A big win on the road for the Chattanooga Red Wolves, 3-1 over the Greenville Triumph. After 90-plus minutes of this one, starting a busy week for the Chattanooga Red Wolves with 3 points. Let's take a look at our highlights from the entire affair of this one. These highlights brought to you by GSP Airport. Starting with the 14th minute goal from Mael Malongo, keeping up a little bit of a streak here and maybe can find himself into a bit of a run of form offensively.
Didn't do a ton else other than that shot, but it didn't matter. It was a quality finish. Lovely pass from his buddy Siobhan Marsh, and then the potential foul, a little clip on the back by Velasquez, but Hayden Anderson didn't care.
Hayden Anderson with his first professional goal. And it was a crazy one, as he signified there. And then all of this mayhem started. It came off of a hand there of Gustavo Fernandez, who did really well to keep that one from going in. And the whistle's blown. A point to the spot's given. But then TJ Bush keeps it from going in.
It's hard to even see on the replay where Fernandez hit it with his hand, but the Greenville players certainly had a good view of it, but it didn't matter. It's TJ Bush with the big denial.
Then Owen Green puts it in the center, deflected upward by Pollock, and headed in by Siobhan Marsh to give Chattanooga the lead. Once again, unfortunate deflection, fortunate finish. That makes it 2-1, and then just moments later, can't say misfortune about this one, just a clear mistake from Nate Schultz, and Siobhan Marsh puts it away. Makes it 3-1 in favor of Chattanooga, and then they just need to bunker in and make sure that they don't concede another penalty, which they did. Jamil Roberts trips up Jamie Smith, and then Evan Lee springs it off the woodwork. And have a couple more chances, but TJ Bush wouldn't let them go through, which means 3-1 is your final score. Chattanooga collecting all 3 points here despite 25 shots from the Greenville Tribe. These are your full-time stats brought to you by Coca-Cola. Also, 60% plus possession for Greenville. So this is definitely one that's going to leave some clenched fists on the Greenville side of things. Meanwhile, Chattanooga will be going into the midweek with some high hopes.
Yeah, it's not a stat sheet Greenville fans will want to be looking at for long, but on to next week. Chattanooga on to midweek with a big 3 points in their back pocket.
Going back home to play Omaha on Wednesday. Meanwhile, it's a road trip to Tormenta on Sunday in the Jägermeister Cup for the Greenville Triumph. That's when you'll be able to see these two teams back in action next. So a long talk here for Rick Wright and his side. Try to find the positives to spin from this one as they move into this next week. For Scott McKenzie's side, it'll be about carrying this momentum and keeping it going. That is where this broadcast will conclude for our entire broadcasting crew. For Ross Davenport, I'm Mark Schoenster saying thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend into this next week. But for us, it's a so long on ESPN Plus. Your final score, Chattanooga Red Wolves 3, Greenville Triumph 1.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.